Welcome to the Campground Catalyst Podcast, the show dedicated to fueling success in outdoor hospitality. Whether you're an outdoor adventurer, a campground owner, or looking to build your legacy in outdoor hospitality, you're right where you need to be. We're here to guide you through the fascinating world of campground management, unique real estate strategies, and the gratifying opportunities created by outdoor hospitality. Our mission is to inspire and equip you with the knowledge and insights you need to build a successful business and create a legacy worth leaving. The Campground Catalyst Podcast is proudly sponsored by Beyonder Camp, your trusted outdoor hospitality experts. Subscribe now, join our active online community, and let's ignite our passions and potential together.
Hey, hello and welcome back to the Campground Catalyst Podcast. Today we will be on the Legacy Builders episode talking about investing in campgrounds. My name is Don Spafford. I'm here joined with my partners Robert Earl, Justin Hoggett, and Adam Lindy. Welcome, guys. How y'all doing today?
Hey, good, Don. How you
Great.
doing?
Looking forward to the topic.
All right. Yeah, this is obviously a topic that for me personally is what I pretty much do every day, dealing with investors and discussing the opportunities that are available for investing in campgrounds and obviously specifically investing with Beyonder Holdings. We have here with us today Adam and Justin, the two founding partners of Beyonder Holdings. People see me pretty much every day as I'm on social media and talking with people, but they really get to see Justin and Adam. So it's a great opportunity for people to hear from them specifically, maybe hear a little bit of their backstory and what got them started on why investing in campgrounds was the way to go anyway, and how you as an investor can invest with us and invest in campgrounds and be part of this cash flowing opportunity. So maybe Adam and Justin, give us a brief background, I guess, on what got you guys started and wanting to invest in campgrounds.
Well, Don, people see you every day so often so that they think we work for you. You know, when Justin and I first went to Best Ever conference a couple of years ago, and we were meeting people there, they go, "Oh, we were Happy Camper at the time. You're with Happy Camper. You must work for Don." We're like, "Yeah, kind of." And so you've more or less become the face of the company, and that's in part out of necessity because you've had to build a network of investors. So, just to give a little bit of background on how this got to where it is. We've given the story before, but Justin and I didn't intend on dipping our toes in the pool of private equity when we first got into this. Honestly, we thought we were going to buy a couple campgrounds and we were just going to run them just like we were doing with our single and multifamily stuff. It's just we're going to do it on our own. But first off, these are expensive, so you got to have a good amount of capital coming in, and then we realized that on our first one, and we for some crazy reason decided we wanted to buy 100 of them. So we knew we weren't going to be able to do that with our own resources, and we were going to have to bring in family and friends.
Yep. To add to that, Don, we've mentioned this before, but it's simply because we wanted to have something that we could use and invest into an asset that we could enjoy with our families and whatnot. So and then that's the very easy why, and then the how is just I don't know. This could be a short show, money, I guess, but
Yeah. No, I hear that. I appreciate that response. It is, as you said, something you can actually enjoy, right? Many of you have, you said, invested in single families and some multifamily things, and Robert and myself as well invest in other forms of real estate, but typically it's something that's there to provide passive income, build wealth, not really something you actually go and utilize and have fun with, enjoy it, right? I don't ever plan to live in any of my investment properties or use them in any other way other than as a rental property. So I think, as you said right there, is the great point of this. And that's not just for someone who wants to buy a campground for investment property for themselves to enjoy, but if they want to invest in some, like with Beyonder Holdings, for example, again, you can still receive that benefit of visiting those properties, hanging out for your weekend, to hang out with your family and friends. When I'm on investor calls, I often bring up that point to tell them, what differentiates this between multifamily or other things besides just the income and the depreciation, as we talked about before, is also that you can actually enjoy it. I often use the tagline "invest where you play," or maybe play where you invest. So that kind of gives that tone to that you can actually go there, hang out with your friends and family, have a good time, create those memories, but also bring up the fact that, hey, I'm invested in this property. I'm creating an income and building wealth by investing in this place that we're at right now, and kind of blow the minds of your friends around you in the campfire. So I guess Robert, what's your experience with investing, and why do you think investing in campgrounds is something maybe better or just different than other types of asset classes?
We have some friends that have invested in the Airbnb space, And so they think they've got it figured out. They're going to set aside 2 or 3 weeks for their property that they can go stay in it. But they're so afraid to stay in the property that they might break something, or they have to end up cleaning it, or they have to do something to the property while they're there, that they don't get to enjoy the investment that they made. So it looked good on a piece of paper. Hey, I'm going to buy this. I'll be able to use it. And then you start also getting friends and family that want to use the Airbnb. And it's very, very difficult because now I've blocked off, again, another case of over the winter where you're giving a discounted rate, a friends and family discount. Well, now you aren't able to pay for your mortgage for that property because all of your friends and family came from up north down to Florida to your Airbnb. The campgrounds in our investment model kind of eliminates that because you're part of the greater pool with the campground. You can still enjoy it because we can either set aside a site or we can set aside a cabin for your enjoyment during that period of time. And then we have the staff to take care of it, clean it up, make the reservations, all of those things. So that's why I enjoy the campground space.
Yeah,
it's a good example,
I agree with
Robert.
you on that. Yeah, perfect. As you brought up, I mean, many people think that any type of real estate investing is passive investing, but really it's not. I mean, if you're, you may have a property manager to manage your Airbnb or other long-term rental, but when the furnace goes out or the roof needs replaced, all those things are still money out of your pocket. You just have to approve these expenses and be involved. Whereas, like you said, investing in a campground with us, you're completely passive, totally hands off. You don't have to worry about any problems come up, repairs or staffing issues. You just sit back and receive that passive income direct into your account. In our case, each quarter, and of course receive the tax benefits and everything else with it. But still, can actually go there and enjoy it, and have fun, and not worry about having to clean up when you're you should probably still clean when done. But you know what I mean. It's not the same as clean the floors and everything else. Just kind of clean up around your site and get out of there. But so yeah, Adam, Justin, anything more to add to that?
There are a lot of different ways to create an investment in a campground. I mean, the model we do that you're referring to, where the investors, that's probably the most passive model you can have, is where you have that limited partner who they really are just an equity partner. They don't have any responsibilities in the day-to-day. It's a more complex legal structure to set up. For our model, it works really well because, frankly, we don't want most of our investors involved in the day-to-day decision-making. If we had to go get a show of hands every time we wanted to buy something, we'd never get anything done. So instead, in our relationship, we have a GP-LP relationship. We're the general partners. It allows our investors to take that more passive role, and they have that expectation up front. There's a legal contract in place that lays out what the expectations are. This might not be the approach everybody takes. Some people might just be looking for a joint venture partner, JV as we call it, where it's two people that get together and partner on a deal, and they're going to have equal responsibilities and some voting rights. And, there's a lot of considerations that come with that too, because you might be two friends today, but, you might find yourself, at an impasse down the road where you need somebody else to help you break that tie. In fact, when Justin and I first started this company, we were the only two members in the LLC. So we actually had to assign a third-party tiebreaker for us, and it was a guy we both know who agreed to be impartial. We finally got to a point, especially when you came in and became a partner with us, where that became eliminated. We didn't have that need anymore. So that's something to consider. Is if somebody's been listening to our podcast and on our Patreon group and is looking for how they buy their first campground, and they know they don't have the resources on their own, this may be a common path they go down. They get somebody who's got a bunch of money and wants to put it to work, and they might consider going into that type of relationship. Our model wouldn't necessarily be the best fit. It would be, I should say, it wouldn't be the greatest fit, economically for somebody who's just trying to bring in one equity partner with them. It's a lot of added legal expense to put those agreements together. So,
yeah, I was going to go back to what Robert said a little bit on the Airbnb short-term rental solution. And there's a lot of issues with I would say properties that are acting as commercial versus residential, and those Airbnb short-term rentals become relegated to a lot of laws around the states and the cities and the counties that are trying to really get rid of them. The tax rates. I mean, we have one, a ski condo that we utilize, similar to what Robert was saying, and the tax rates are now in discussion to be 28% for that short-term rental. So, it doesn't seem to be very favorable solution, unless you really do want to use that more long term. But besides that, though, using the campgrounds as commercial space, we've talked a lot about how to get into it, the due diligence period, different areas that we focus on, but how to invest is really focusing on where you want to be. Maybe for most people, if you're just a one park operator, focusing on the areas that you're looking for. Can you pull in the family money? That's how we got started, was friends and family. So don't think that you have to do it yourself. Yes, there's a lot of legal expense now because we've grown the company. We've done a lot of different avenues. We've done a fund, a lot of different things that we probably would have never imagined when we first started talking about this stuff. But utilizing some friends and family, those that are looking to help you fulfill your dream, I think start there. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, good point. And on your thing about the use of the land, I think it's worth stating again, on the Airbnb thing, we always use the terms like, use permitted use, conditional use and such in real estate. And when you're taking, like Justin said, a residential property and you're using it for other than that, like he said, spot on. Here in Denver, Colorado, where we're home based, the city of Denver made a rule several years back that outlawed Airbnbs unless you lived in it 181 days or more out of the year. So if you were Airbnbing it, you didn't live there, or even that much, they were arresting people. It was criminal. They were seriously jailing people over this. So when you're buying this property somewhere for an Airbnb, you need to make sure that it pencils out as a single family rental, because that might be your best case scenario if your local government changes its rules. I know that's why people flocked to Arizona a few years ago, because Arizona has a law in the books that effectively states it grandfathers anybody who's got an Airbnb and pretty much says that no new regulations can be imposed on them. So that's some added protection. But again, if you're working within your proper permitted use, like we are with a commercial campground property, we know that we're going to be good on that use going forward.
Yeah, excellent point for sure. Yeah, I've seen that here in my area as well. There's some of the smaller towns that did very well, especially during the eclipse of 2017, I think it was. Lots of the houses around here sold out quickly for Airbnbs, but then quickly also the cities were like, hey, this is like too crazy. We don't want to allow this. So yeah, you never know what the laws could come and change, which could totally change your total plans. Not to mention also you're dependent a lot on the reviews. Sometimes people get upset that they ran out of soap, and then they'll leave a negative review because they didn't have soap. So just gotta be careful of those kind of things as well. Let's transition a bit over. So someone wants to invest with, in our case, as an LP investor in Beyonder Holdings. It's a very simple process, but maybe one of you guys, you want to kind of take on that a bit and kind of explain what's the process look like for an LP investor to invest passively with Beyonder Holdings?
Yeah, I'll share a couple things real quick, and then I'll let somebody else jump in so I don't totally dominate. But I mentioned before, of course, the difference. You can be an LP investor, or in some cases, you could be like a JV investor with somebody else. One of the benefits to being an LP is that limited partnership. It creates some insulation for you from the actions of the general partner. So unless you know the person, it's got to be a family member for me. If I'm going to do a JV deal, I wouldn't do it with very many other people outside of that, because if that person is a bad actor, they do something, you're potentially exposed to that liability. They get sued from something they do while operating the property, you're potentially exposed to that. Our limited partner investors, they have some insulation from us in the private placement memorandum, the way it's written. So that's a really big benefit up front. In addition to being totally passive, they have voting rights on certain major things. But again, this is all negotiable. It's all negotiated in these PPMs when we put them together. But I think that's the next benefit, is that, they're really, the most risk they have is losing their investment if we totally failed on it.
Yeah, that's an excellent point to make for sure. It could be something that totally scary, as you said. This a small thing, somebody might slip and fall and say, "Oh, you guys didn't salt enough on the ice, and now I'm going to sue you for $1 million," and then you're out of business and on the street maybe. So something you have to keep in mind there for sure. Being a limited partner, like I said, has that great benefit that you're not responsible for anything that goes wrong with the property. The most you're at risk, of course, is the money you invested, and that's it. So be sure you obviously don't invest your last penny. Make sure it's money that I'd say that goes with any investment. Obviously, only invest what you are willing to lose, because any investment is risky. But I do know several people that are doing JV deals right now on some campgrounds. kind of is their first exposure. They of course see what we're doing and like the returns they're able to get, and so decide to start looking for their own. They buy some of these smaller ones that they could JV together, and I think they'll probably quickly learn that it's a lot more work than they anticipated, especially for a smaller property that they can't really afford to hire out proper staffing and management. So they'll at some point probably realize that they need to go bigger, or just make it easy and invest with Beyond Our Holdings or group similar to ours. So that's something definitely to keep in mind, how much work you actually want to put in when you're looking to get involved. And I think Justin brought up a great point earlier about location. So that goes for us, and I'd say with any other somebody looking to purchase a campground as an investment property, is location has a lot to do with it. Whether you want to be something near something like a major attraction that's going to bring people anyway, no matter what, you don't really have to do much advertising. You're just there because there's millions of people that visit that place every year anyway. Maybe like something like the Grand Canyon or by me here at Yellowstone. But if you're kind of something that's kind of not near a major attraction, you still got to keep in mind, how people are going to get to you, if it's easy to get to or not, and what you're going to do to attract them to get there. And just having a basic campground may not be enough. You want to make sure you've got at least some amenities or attractions that will make people want to come there and stay there and come back. Because obviously you don't want just a one and done guest every single time. You want repeat guests to come back and keep it filled at a continual basis. Going back to the point though, for someone who wants to invest passively, for example, with Beyond Our Holdings in our case, it's very simple. You have to go to our investor portal, which it's investors.beyondourcamp.com. Once you register on there, you can view any opportunities that are available at the time. Obviously, if you're an accredited or non-accredited investors, it may have some limitations on what you can or can't invest with at the moment. But just in general, if you were to go on our website and you are able to invest, you just kind of review those opportunities. If you like it, simply is push a button as request to invest, sign some documents, wire some funds, and that's just about it, really. Then from there, you get continual communication from us as far as how the property is performing and what it's doing, and of course, then those distributions sent to your account on a quarterly basis, and your annual reports as well. So very simple, totally hands off. The most you have to do is look at your reports once in a while. Be happy your money's in your bank account, and that's about it. So I guess outside of that, if you're looking to buy your own as an investment property, that's maybe a different topic. We'd have to take a whole another episode just about that, which we've kind of mentioned before, actually, but more of the owner operator, more so than somebody who just wants to buy it as an investment property. But in this case, I guess that we've kind of discussed already a lot of the benefits and what's come from that. But just at a high level, again, we'll say compared to other types of real estate, from myself as an example, I'll just use my own personal experience here. What led me to even start investigating RV campgrounds, what led me to meet Adam and get involved with the company is I was, prior to this, just an investor in multifamily or other types of real estate. And as the competition was increasing in like early 2021, the prices were going up, and the cash flows were coming down to the point where it just, to me, it didn't even make sense anymore to invest in anything that you could not even get the cash flow. And investing just for appreciation, in my case, was just too risky. So it had the cash flow no matter what day one, and I was not seeing anything that could cash flow well. And so I started researching, and I learned about campgrounds as a great investment opportunity that can provide double-digit cash on cash and high returns and multiple income streams on the property. I was like, wow, that sounds amazing. So I started researching myself and reviewing and learning more and connecting and networking, and that's how I ran into Adam, and just through a comment somewhere on social media, and we got in a call, and everything's history from there. So. If it's something that is in your alley, that you're looking for better returns, you're not satisfied with what's happening with your other investment portfolio, feel free to reach out to us and talk to one of us to learn more about what we can provide to you.
Yeah, Don, I want to cover a couple things you mentioned. There's a lot of content in there. You mentioned a couple guys who are JVing a smaller deal right now, and that they're going to probably realize that potential. Robert said on a past episode before, when you buy a small campground, you're buying a job, and that's 100% what it is. And this is something that if you are looking at buying one of these, whether it's as an LP or as a JV or by yourself, whatever the case is, you got to start with that goal in mind, because you have to understand that if even if you're an LP investor, you might have some insulation, but if that operator is saying, yeah, I can make this 30 site campground work, and no, I'm going to hire a whole staff to go run the whole thing, you might question if you're going to see any return on that. So that's worth looking into. This is when you have to do your diligence on the operator, and we always invite our investors to do the same. We give them all of our underwriting. I know not everybody does that, but that's the big thing for us is in our portal. When we put a deal up, we share everything, all our due diligence, all our underwriting, because I want them to see everything we saw, and they should be looking at that, realizing that, if they're buying that small campground, they're probably going to have to run it themselves. Or if they hire someone, even at minimum wage, they're probably not going to be cash flowing much, if anything. So I think that's something worth considering for somebody going into this and I think that's some advice is, whether you're looking at Beyonder or you're looking at another operator in our space, or even another asset class, doesn't matter what it is you're investing in, do your due diligence on the operators. It's worth it to your investment.
And Don,
let's talk as well on that. If even if you have work campers or somebody's going to manage that property for you on site, if you don't have the resources and the systems in place, if that person were to quit tomorrow, what are you going to do? Do you have somebody come in and replace them, or do you have time to go down there and manage it yourself until you get a replacement? That's something else to keep in mind, because that could be a huge problem when that occurs, which it will occur at some point.
Yep, you're on a plane.
Sorry, yeah, Robert and Justin, you had something you were going to say?
Go ahead, Justin.
Okay, Don. So you kind of alluded to education, same with Adam, and I like to invest in things that I know about. I'm not a big stock market guy. I'm not throwing out a bunch of money. I mean, that's one way to do it. You can also trust a financial advisor to help you with that. I like to know where I'm putting my money, and that's the same as what you said, Don, is looking for a high cash flow option to invest in. And that was another big draw to it. Obviously, that's one of those areas that we've really tried to help people understand this space. We've delved into the education piece of it. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're trying to, we did Wealth Watchers podcast a while ago and trying to educate people a little bit more about our space and why it can be a good solution. One of the areas that we saw from the very beginning is the opportunity for compressed cap rates, which for those that don't know, a lower cap rate, if you buy it higher and it goes lower, you get more cash out of it, right? It's just a kind of a simple mathematical
golf equation.
Scores. Yeah. Golf scores. And so jumping into the space, we saw as an opportunity to see it more like the mobile home space was 12, 15 years ago. That was new to people. They didn't really understand it. They were, I don't know, should I invest in that? Now people are jumping into it left and right. So we felt like Campgrounds is a great area to really focus on, with a lot of different potential and obviously a lot of different cash flow streams. So hurdling through that education piece has been a little bit harder. I think Adam and I could both attest to, like, holy cow, we didn't realize like everyone was having so many questions. But that, again, reach out to us, let us know, how can we help you feel a little bit more comfortable with the space, and just general questions. We love to talk about it. Clearly.
On the joint venture aspect of it too, when you're making that type of investment, you're potentially putting a ceiling on your investment. And what do I mean by that? We have 6 properties in our portfolio now. We're making offers on others. We're always bird dogging to look for other properties and have our criteria that we're looking for. In those 6 properties over the last 6 months, just in operations of it, I think I've been on the road about 4 months of that, of visiting the different properties, of making sure that things are in place so that they're getting the highest return that they possibly can. And that could be from implementation of reservation systems, to staffing, to launching our work camper program this year, to being educational to our staff, not just to the folks that are out, and then so that we can give accurate reports to those that invest into us. If you're only doing a joint venture, there's only so many hours for the 2 people that are involved with it, or the limited folks that are involved with it, to try to find deals and then operate them and to do all of the steps of it. I think I got to pat ourselves on the back. We do a pretty good job of segmenting what the different areas are of our acquisitions team, our investor relations team, our operations team, and how we actually gives us then the focus that we have on the campground.
Definitely. As we near the end of this episode, I'll make sure we at least cover it at a high level. We've been talking about the cash flows and the returns that these properties can deliver, and I just want to make sure we highlight that, with Beyond Our Holdings, we are targeting properties that can deliver an average of a 12 to 15% cash on cash for our LP investors. So you invest with us, that's the kind of properties we're targeting. And then honestly, at this day and time, if you have not done much research on other investment opportunities at the moment, that is very, very high. That's maybe double or triple what most multifamily assets are delivering right now. So incredibly high cash flows. And then with that, we're looking for an average of a 2.5 to 3x equity multiple, which basically means over that 5-year hold period that you'd be invested with us, we are trying to potentially triple your investment over that period of time between both the cash flows and the equities. And on top of that, as we've mentioned in other episodes, is the depreciation can be extremely high, much higher than you'd see in other asset classes as well. So if you have, say, a big capital gain from some other sale of an asset or other big passive income you have from other things, you can pretty much offset that to zero, to have zero taxes due on any of those types of gains or income. So great things to keep in mind, and more to learn about. And just as we said before at the beginning, the cherry on top is that you can actually go there and enjoy these investments. Not just have it be something on your books and in your bank account, but you can go and have fun and create memories and enjoy it. So something that's very, very unique about this asset class.
I'm going to jump on that too.
We're supposed to talk real quick and say your mileage may vary. Full disclosures are in the portal. Go ahead and register in the portal, and you get all the information that you need.
And I'll mention on that too, Don. I mean, those returns are in part because of the risk someone's taking. And I when I say risk, what I mean is, this asset class is still relatively new as an investment vehicle. I don't know any operators that are dealing with the type of campgrounds we are who have gone full cycle on a deal, meaning from cradle to grave, bought the property all the way to liquidation. So, you're looking a lot on projections. As time goes on and this asset proves itself, you're not going to see operators, including us, offering that to investors. That will go down in time, just like it has for other asset classes, as it builds a reputation for itself. So really, if someone is at a relatively high, I should say tolerance for risk, this is a great asset class to look at. It's one that we are all, fully invested in and we believe it's got the potential for the long haul.
Exactly. Yeah. And to Robert's point there, actually, we cannot guarantee anything. There's nothing guaranteed about any of those returns. Those are just what we are targeting, what we were trying to achieve for our investors. But as we said also at the beginning, everything has a risk, so things can happen. One last plug, maybe for those that are looking to maybe learn more, know how to properly find, analyze, and research, and even operate a campground, you can look into our program that we put together maybe a couple years ago, I guess, the happycamperuniversity.com. It's the RV Destination Mastery course that we have available for you. That's a relatively small investment to learn how to buy a campground the right way, to make sure you don't get into something over your head and regret it later. Okay, any last words from any of you guys?
No, just on that last point, Don, if you're somebody who's listening, who's looking at creating an investment opportunity for others, you owe it to the people who are going to be investing in you to do your homework and learn this the right way. Our course, as Don mentioned, RV Destination Mastery, which is available at happycamperuniversity.com, was created using all the principles we use to build our real estate acquisition and investment management company. So it's absolutely worth the price of admission, just to protect yourself and your investors.
Definitely. Excellent point. Very, very, I'd say minimal investment up front to protect yourself and your investors if you tend to bring on investors for your properties. All right. Well, great. Well, thanks again, guys, for your time. Thanks, everyone, for listening today on this episode of the Campground Catalyst Podcast. We'll see you on the next one.
And we'll see you on Patreon.
All right. See you guys.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Campground Catalyst Podcast, where we take you behind the scenes in the fun and gratifying world of outdoor hospitality. We hope you were inspired by today's show and better equipped to take the next steps in your journey. Remember, you can continue the conversation and connect with fellow enthusiasts by visiting our website and joining the Campground Catalyst community on Patreon at campgroundcatalyst.com. There, Patreon members get exclusive access to special listener perks, they get their opportunity to engage with the host, and they get their questions answered on one of our future upcoming shows. The Campground Catalyst Podcast is proudly sponsored by Beyond Our Camp, your trusted partner in fueling your success in outdoor hospitality. Until next time, keep both your campfires and your passions burning.